April 14th, 1912, 11:40 p.m. The RMS Titanic is 4 days into her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York. She's the largest, most luxurious ship ever built. 882 feet long, taller than a 17-story building. They call her unsinkable. Tonight, 2,024 people are aboard. In first class, the richest people in the world dine on 7-course meals. John Jacob Astor, the wealthiest man in America, Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidore and Ida Strauss, owners of Macy's department store. They drink champagne under crystal chandeliers. They walk on thick carpet. They relax in rooms that rival the finest hotels. But down in third class, in the belly of the ship, immigrant families crowd into simple cabins. Irish, Italian, Swedish, they're seeking a new life in America. They paid everything they had for these tickets. The night is perfectly calm. No moon, just stars. The ship cuts through glass-smooth water at 22 knots. The orchestra plays in the first-class lounge. Everything is perfect. Everything is beautiful. In 30 minutes, the Titanic will hit an iceberg, and 1,500 people will die. 11:40 p.m. Lookout Frederick Fleet sees it. Dead ahead, a massive iceberg. He rings the warning bell 3 times and phones the bridge. Iceberg, right ahead. First Officer Murdoch orders hard to port. Turn left. But the ship is too big, too fast, too late. The Titanic scrapes along the iceberg's underwater shelf. From above, it looks minor. Just chunks of ice falling on deck. Some passengers go outside and play with the ice. But below the waterline, disaster. The iceberg tears a 300-foot gash along the starboard side. Not one big slice, but a series of openings across 6 watertight compartments. Water floods in. Down in the boiler rooms, crew scramble as seawater pours through the hull. Thomas Andrews, the ship's designer, rushes below to inspect the damage. He does the calculations. The ship can survive 4 flooded compartments, but 6 are open to the sea. He tells Captain Smith the terrible truth. The ship will sink. We have 2 hours, maybe less. At 12:05 a.m., Captain Smith gives the order. Uncover the lifeboats. Women and children first. But there's a problem. The Titanic has lifeboats for 1,178 people. There are 2,224 aboard. 12:25 a.m. The evacuation begins. Crew uncover the lifeboats. Officers shout, "Women and children first." But there's chaos. Many passengers don't believe the ship is sinking. It seems impossible. This is the unsinkable Titanic. Some women refuse to get in the boats. They don't want to leave their husbands. Officers start loading lifeboats anyway. But here's the tragedy. Most boats launch half empty. Lifeboat 1, capacity 40 people, leaves with only 12 aboard. The crew doesn't fill them completely, fearing the davit ropes will break. On deck, families are torn apart. Young wives are separated from husbands, children from fathers. The rule is strict. Women and children only. Isidore and Ida Strauss, married 41 years, refuse to separate. When offered a seat, Ida says, "Where you go, I go." They decide to die together. Benjamin Guggenheim goes to his cabin, changes into his finest evening wear, and tells his steward, "We've dressed up in our best and are prepared to go down like gentlemen." Meanwhile, down in third class, hundreds of immigrants are trapped. Gates designed to segregate classes are locked. By the time crew unlock some of them, many third-class passengers can't reach the lifeboats. The ship's bow is sinking lower. At 1:15 a.m., the forward well deck goes underwater. The ship is tilting. Furniture slides toward the bow. Crystal chandeliers hang at angles. Time is running out. 2:05 a.m. The last lifeboat leaves. 1,500 people are still aboard the sinking ship. There are no more boats. These people are going to die. The bow is completely underwater now. The stern rises high into the air, higher, higher, until the ship is standing nearly vertical. People cling to railings. They climb toward the stern, trying to stay out of the water as long as possible. Some jump. Others slide down the almost vertical deck into the freezing ocean. But the orchestra keeps playing. Bandleader Wallace Hartley and his 7 musicians stand on the tilting deck playing hymns, trying to bring calm, trying to give comfort. They're playing "Nearer, My God, to Thee." They will all die, not one survives. At 2:18 a.m., the unthinkable happens. The ship breaks in half. The stress is too much. The hull snaps between the 3rd and 4th funnels. The bow section, already flooded, breaks free and sinks. The stern crashes back to horizontal, then rises again, straight up. And at 2:20 a.m., the stern makes its final plunge. In 15 seconds, the Titanic is gone, vanished beneath the calm, cold Atlantic. 1,500 people are now in the water. The ocean temperature is 28 degrees Fahrenheit, below freezing. Most will die from hypothermia in 15 minutes. The survivors in lifeboats, only 20 boats for 2,224 people, sit 600 yards away. They hear the screams, the cries for help. But most boats don't row back. They fear being swamped by desperate swimmers. By 2:40 a.m., the screaming stops. Almost everyone in the water is dead. At 5:30 a.m., 4 hours after the sinking, the RMS Carpathia arrives. She's been racing through iceberg-filled waters at full speed. Captain Arthur Rostron pushed his ship beyond her limits to get here. The Carpathia finds 18 lifeboats scattered across the calm ocean. 706 survivors. That's all, out of 2,224 people. The survivors are pulled aboard. Women who lost husbands, children who lost fathers, crew who watched their ship, the unsinkable Titanic, vanish in minutes. They're in shock, hypothermic, traumatized. Many will have nightmares for the rest of their lives. The casualty breakdown is devastating. 1,517 dead. In first class, 130 dead, but 67% survived. In second class, 166 dead, 43% survived. In third class, 536 dead, only 25% survived. The poor died in far greater numbers. The gates, the locked doors, the language barriers, they never had a chance. Of the 908 crew, 685 died. Every single engineer perished. All 35 stayed at their posts in the flooding engine rooms, keeping the lights on and the pumps running so others could escape. Of 1,352 men aboard, 1,334 died. Only 20% survived. Women and children first was brutally enforced, but 109 women and 56 children still died. The Titanic disaster changed everything. New laws required ships to carry enough lifeboats for everyone. Radio watch became 24 hours. The International Ice Patrol was established to track icebergs. The disaster helped create modern maritime safety. Today, the wreck sits 12,500 feet below the North Atlantic. Explorers have photographed her. We've seen the grand staircase collapsed, the chandeliers gone, rusticles covering the hull, personal items scattered on the ocean floor, shoes, luggage, china, marking the graves of those who died. The Titanic reminds us Technology fails, hubris kills, and the ocean always wins. 1,517 souls rest in the cold Atlantic. We remember them